Schoolboy shot in drive-by and Wall Street succumbed to injuries. One of the schoolboys shot during a drive-by along Wall Street in East Kingston on Monday afternoon has reported to succumb to his injuries. He has been identified as 15-year-old student of Holy Trinity High. Earlier, 4 people including 2 schoolboys were shot. 2 of the victims succumbed to their wounds. Their identities were not yet released. Reports indicated that a white Mark X drove up along Wall Street. One of the occupants reportedly stepped out of the car and opened fire on a group of people standing on the road. The condition of the second schoolboy has not yet been ascertained. Green Island curfew extended. A 72-hour curfew imposed within the Green Island Police Division on Friday was extended on Monday. This is the third one announced this month by cops who have spoken of residents' reluctance to speak about the impact that inter-gang conflict and an influx in criminals have been having on their communities. We are having a challenge. Nobody wants to be their brother's keeper anymore, and so it is hard to clear up some of these crimes, Operations Officer for Hanover Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Angela McIntosh Gill told reporters last Thursday regarding the multi-general meeting of the Hanover Municipal Corporation. She appealed to councillors and others present at the meeting to work with the police in providing information. She attributed the criminal activity being observed in the area to fighting between rival gangs and lottery scamming. Everybody wants to get rich, but they don't want to work, and when somebody shortchanges somebody, they are going after them. And it is not just the person that has wronged them, they are taking others with them, the mother, the father, and even the dog they might take. We have to be proactive and work together, stated McIntosh Gill. She said while murders are down in the parish by 24%, Green Island continues to be an issue. She noted that while the police are trying their best, they are not getting the support of residents within the affected areas. We have to work together. In the Longwood area, where we have a lot of murders, we just want the citizens there to cooperate, to help us, to help them reduce the crime in that area, and by extension, everywhere else in Jamaica, she appealed. We know that the hotels help the economy because persons are getting jobs, but we have a lot of migrant criminals. When they come into the space, some yes genuinely want to work, but some are not about the work. They want to do other types of work. They associate themselves with others, and then the residents tend to be housing them, McIntosh Gill added. She said her team has encountered individuals from other parishes including St. Mary, Portland, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and more. The police have reported that Green Island saw a 300% surge in murders in April, with 4 murders committed in comparison to 1 for the same period last year. A total of 25 people were killed in the parish last year. 19 have been killed between January and May of this year. Inspector Mervyn Hoggs, officer in charge of the division, said the previous 2 curfews covered the areas of Longwood, Santoy, and Orange Bay. The first curfew this month was on May 2nd. Man killed during alleged dispute with sisters in Westmoreland. A man was killed during an alleged dispute involving relatives, including his sisters. The incident occurred in Hartford, Westmoreland on Sunday night. He has been identified as 38-year-old Alwyn Beckford, otherwise called Sheng, a laborer from the community. According to Detective Superintendent of Police Dean Watson, who confirmed the incident with reporters, Beckford was hit with a stone during a confrontation. Reports from the police indicated that Beckford was at home with his fiancée when an argument developed between him and one of his sisters. During the argument, it is alleged that the 3 family members, including his sisters, began hurling stones at Beckford, one of which reportedly hit him on the left side of his head. This caused a wound that bled profusely. Beckford later collapsed and was rushed to the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. TA Managing Director urges citizens to look out for fraud through use of public officials' identities. Managing Director of the Transport Authority, Ralston Simmet, is urging citizens to be on the lookout for persons who use public officials' identities to perpetrate fraud. Mr. Simmet says he has been made aware that criminals purporting to be him have contacted persons claiming that the authority is having an auction to get rid of new vehicles at the wharf. The managing director says several unsuspecting people have given funds to these criminals who have been operating in his name.
What would have happened is that the criminals, they use one of my photos and use it as their WhatsApp profile to reach out to the individual. So at the time, the individual thought more or less that he was in fact speaking to me on the matter. But having an account of my other number, my phone number, the individual reached out to me. It was at that time that I was explaining to the individual that no, we have no vehicles for auction. In fact, what the authority auctions is some old decrepit vehicles that would have seized over a period of time and the remaining are pawned and the owners see little no value in retrieving them. Consequent on that, the authority over time would have auctioned those vehicles. What the persons are offering them is high-end vehicle, indicating that those vehicles are at the wharf and sending them photographs of the vehicles, etc. So on account of that, we have alerted the police and I'm making it public and warning the public, in fact, to be on the lookout for these criminals who are using the images and profiles of prominent people in society, in fact, government officials, to lure them to this particular scam and fleece them of their money.
Time for change. The continued decline of Jamaica's birth rate has highlighted the need to reassess traditional notions of retirement, said Minister of Labour and National Security Pernell Charles Jr., who emphasized the imperative for society to adapt to the changing landscape. The birth rate is declining while the mortality age is increasing, and therefore we have to address in our thinking about how we treat with persons after the current age of retirement, stated Charles Jr. The minister was speaking at the launch of Workers' Week and Labor Day on Friday, held under the theme Ramp Up the Asset, Show That You Care. This year the focus will be on persons with disabilities, the elderly and the vulnerable. He referred to a recent published news article which stated that according to the Jamaica Population Health Status Report 2000 to 2022, which was tabled in Parliament last week, Jamaica's crude birth rate, which is the number of annual live births per 1,000 population, declined by 10.2 percentage points from 21.7 per population of 1,000 in 2000 to 11.4% per 1,000 population in 2022. The report further stated that in 2019, there were more than 576,738 Jamaicans under the age of 15 compared to 261,750,000 Jamaicans over the age of 65. However, between 2000 and 2019, the child population decreased while the elderly population grew by 32.6%. A big part of what we're discussing at the ministry now is how we contemplate the future of work that must contemplate the future of integration of the elderly cohort. You can't go home and sit down anymore just like that, the minister stated. We have a lot to think about in terms of the new frontier in which all citizens will now have to participate in their full capacity, he stressed. Of the 1,320,400 people in the workforce up to October 2023, according to Statistical Institute of Jamaica, approximately only 20% of them are part of a pension plan. This means a majority of people retiring will have to find other sources of income when they leave the workforce. And according to Financial Services Commission, as at June 30, 2022, the total value of assets in the pension industry amounted to $705.58 billion. Workers' Week and Labor Day celebratory activities will commence on May 17, ending on May 23rd. The minister said activities will be tailored to celebrate the progress of Jamaican workers and the labor movement from its birth to an era of industrial harmony when workers now have a right to representation in the bargaining process. That industrial harmony is not just happening by coincidence, it is happening through a very deliberate approach to ensure that there is a space created by our permanent secretary and by our theme for people to come and safely have discussions, he said. The minister further noted that Jamaica has made significant progress implementing provisions under the Disabilities Act of 2014 to safeguard the rights of persons with disabilities. He said that this year's focus is to call to action for all Jamaicans to pledge their support in fostering the inclusivity that is necessary, moving beyond talk to action. It serves as a reminder that every one of us, regardless of our challenges, regardless of our abilities, that we are all in circumstances that merit equal access to opportunities and services, said Charles Jr., adding that all Jamaicans will benefit from increased access. Our focus is on providing access that it surpasses just physical access, and this is something that we want to reiterate. We are talking now about access to education, access to financial and social support, and access to employment opportunities, stated the minister. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.